Hello my friends, this is Jeannie. Welcome back. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I want to share with you what I am working on for the month of October. This is one of a few things I'm working on. I'm also working on a journal, but I haven't introduced that project yet. So since this project is further along and because I'm stuck, I'm going to share this with you. So for October, I have decided to do a daily prompt list. Admittedly, I kind of did a 180. I originally intended to do a different prompt list, one that I started over a year ago. But because I'm in a different headspace now, that prompt list from over a year ago, I wasn't vibing with it at all. So got rid of it and decided to just find me something more in tune with where my head is right now. And so I decided to go back to a prompt list or two organizers that I've followed in the past and used their prompt list. And that is April from Pink Odd Bird and Priscilla from Release the Crafting. They started this storyline over 2 years ago. It's a prompt list, but the prompts tell a story. So every day you kind of build on that story. I did year 2022, and that was the first half of this journal. So the journal I'm working in is a paper bag journal that I created using some bags from Gideon's, which is this wonderful little bakehouse in Orlando, Florida. I absolutely adored it, had so much fun, and in my mind completed this story, closed, one and done. So it wasn't my intention to do the next year after that because I liked where I ended this story. And if I were to build on it, I'm going to build on it based on where I ended the story. I would go from there. So if you're interested in knowing more about this playlist or this prompt and this story, definitely check out the playlist. By the by, that's an actual copy of my parents' wedding photo. There's my mom. There's my dad. Isn't she gorgeous? Isn't he handsome? Lovely couple. So that story, that chapter closed out. Then the year after that, they did a carnival theme one, which I was not vibing on at all. Carnival's just not my thing, my friends. So I skipped it. And this year I thought I would skip it again because I thought I would just pick up and finish the prompt list I actually did start last year. But like I said, because I'm in a different headspace now, I just wasn't vibing with it. And there's no sense in doing something that makes me unhappy. So I abandoned that ship and started a new project. New prompt list. I love this one. Admittedly, I've read ahead, so I'm probably going to be changing it a little bit. But let me read to you and show you what I've done so far. Day one is a recycled page. This is the day one page I made for that old prompt list, but conveniently enough, it worked for day one. But you will see the vibe is totally different when I do days 2, 3, 4, 5, and I think I got as far as 7. So day one reads, phew, finally made it away from the wacky carnival. And I found myself driving down this dark, desolate road. The only thing visible is the moon. Coincidentally, the first page I made for that prior prompt list was this page featuring the moon. It's a little cutesy, but it still works. Okay. The background was created using some metallic gilding polish. That's how long I've had this polish. I used it over a year ago and I'm still using it. And I probably bought it a year before that. So I've had it for a while. I used some of that polish. I used some white splatter. This is a dye. I believe it's by Tim Holtz. Maybe. These are all Tim Holtz dyes. You have a witch. over a cauldron, casting a little spell, 2 black kitties. And as always, I have a little ground here that I created just by tearing some black paper. I like to ground my image. That's my thing. I don't like images just randomly floating about unless that's what they're supposed to be doing. So that was day 1. All right, day 2. Totally different vibe. This is a little creepier, a little darker, because this is what I'm feeling right now. This is what I want to do. So look at the big difference. A year ago, now. But I'm going to continue working with it. So day 2, I must still be scared, because as I drive past the trees looming over and around me, I feel like the trees are watching me. So here is a background I created using Distress Oxide sprays. If you were to see this page when I first started working with it, you would be shocked at how different it looks now. It started off super bright with some yellows, greens, oranges. That was my foundation. I built on top of that using some black soot and used some black gesso. Then I went in with some acrylic paint, painted some trees. Then I skimmed those trees with the Tim Holtz Crypt paste, which gives it this nice green texture. I also layered some of it on the bottom to create kind of like a road or ground. Here we have a Tim Holtz doll, paper doll. I'm going to use a lot of paper dolls because that's what I'm feeling right now. That's what I want to do. I added some wings to this creepy little boy, and he's just hanging in the trees. So that's who's watching Missy Miss, who thinks it's a good idea to be driving through the woods late at night. Don't know what you're thinking, Missy, but it wouldn't be me. Here's day 3. Day 3 reads, through the flashes of my headlights, I can see there are many interesting signs along this roadway. So here I have a little pocket. I decided day 3 is going to be the front of this pocket. I used a wood chip piece. It was just a random shaped like a tree. Clearly you can see that, right? There was something that was gifted to me long time ago as part of an unboxing video. I forget what company I collabed with, but took that tree, painted it with some black gesso. I created a background, started with a base of black gesso, took this metallic gilding polish. The way I use it is I just use my fingers. I don't know if you should do that. I don't know if this is toxic. I don't know if that's a good idea, but that's what I do. I will admit I've had this for such a long time that it's definitely not as creamy as it used to be, but it still works. And I'm still using it, so can't be mad about that. So what I do is I just rub my finger on this, and then I just rub it across here. Rub it across the paper, right? And it leaves this beautiful metallic blue shine. When the base is black and you put that blue on top of it, it just looks like a beautiful night sky. Then I went in with some gold paint splatter. This is by Winsor and Newton ink. My favorite gold. I'm sad. Look, it's almost gone. I think it's more water than ink in there at this point, but I did buy another paint to replace it, but I think I chose poorly. I got this Dr. Martin's iridescent copper plate gold. I don't like it. It's more copper than gold. I'm sure I'll find a use for it, but in this journal is not it. So I'm going to continue trying to, add more water to that gold until I can replace it. But I had enough. Gold splatter on the background. Laid the tree on top of that. You'll see some Tim Holtz paper dolls right here. 2 little witches. Took the opportunity to add just some texture by adding some lace here. Lace trim. And then I use more of the quote chips by Tim Holtz. This one says beware, lost and found, and spellbound. So that is day 3. Now, this is a pocket, which gets a little tricky because you want to kind of keep numbers in order. I played with this a little bit. I did make a tag. This is part of the story I'm seeing in my head, but there's no prompt for it, but it will make sense. So I'm going to show it to you. It'll make sense when you see the next prompt. So I'm going to read to you what I did here. I took a Tim Holtz background, you know, his backdrops, double-sided, folded it in half to create almost like, it looks like I took two pieces of paper and put them together, but it's basically just a backdrop folded over, and I just ripped the edge a little bit to create a seam. This is a Tim Holtz paper doll. This one, I think it's called Portraits, and these antlers and this little kind of headstone vibe going on here says Noah Scape 1835 to 1897. These are all rub-ons by Tim Holtz. This is also Tim Holtz. I just took two. I don't want to flip it over yet because there's a reveal, but I took two of these word tags, I don't know, tickets, glued them together to create a tab on here, added a eyelet and some ribbon, and then I used some clippings from one of Tim Holtz's sticker books to tell a bit of a story here. It's called Vanishing Visitors. In the shadow of the trees, lost in the woods, he must have gone crazy. There seemed no possible escape. Someone digging in the ground. Then suddenly a strange thing happened. Now I stand where darkness falls, my dead body in the very woods, lost in the inky darkness. So that's the vibe of that tag. Check that out. So now we're going to turn the page. Remember him. We're going to turn the page. How do you like that? Does he look familiar to you? Can you see? That's him. What on God's green earth happened to him? Well, let's try and find out what happened to him. So, day 4. I slammed the brakes suddenly as a huge animal crosses the road, blocking my way forward. So here we have Mr. Noah. Who knows how many years later? Doesn't quite look human anymore. Now he has antlers. Wonder what happened to him. Doesn't look like he's having a very good time. Here I took a paper element from one of Tim Holtz's Halloween ephemera packs. I just extended it a little bit by adding some gesso and some paint splatter to make it seem like he's wearing like a blood, like some kind of a garment dripping in blood. Yeah. And I did those same rub-ons in the background here, so it kind of makes you think back to this poor soul that was lost. That's day 4. Day 5, right here, reads, after a brief stare down, the animal moves on. Just ahead, I see a fork in the road. Both routes have ominous signs, but one direction is closed off. So this is that same backdrop, obviously, right? It was a map. So I took my VersaFine marker and just traced a part of the map that had 2 roads that forked. And then I used some embossing glaze to highlight those roads. I used more Tim Holtz ephemera pieces to just do a little collage here. More creepy little paper dolls. I dirtied them up a little bit. So we've seen a lot of old creepy souls hanging around in this road. You would think she would catch a clue and, you know, turn around and go back, but she wants to keep going, so we're going to keep going. So, did I read day 5? I think I did. Yes. Okay. So, there's 4 and 5. Here's 6. She's a little creepy. Day 6. After I pick what doesn't really feel like much of an option, I start to drive down the road. Why is this road so bumpy? So again, just to have some cohesive. I like my pages to be cohesive, especially when I'm telling a story. So the one theme you'll see traveling so far, I haven't read all the way through the prompts, but seems like a lot of this is happening in the woods. You're going to see that same woodsy, kind of creepy, dark sky in the back. Again, I started by black gesso, the entire page, some more of that polishing paste, and then more trees. I use my Stabilo pencil, yes. The Stabilo All Pencil, I think it's what it's called, if I can find it. Yep, here it is. This is an amazing little pencil. It writes on just about anything. Paper, glass, plastic, metal. It is so cool. I have these all over my room in black and white. So I use that to just some sticks and trees in the background. Some more gold paint splatter. Here, the bumpy. Why is the road so bumpy? Could be because there might be things buried in that road, and you don't want to look closely because you're not going to like what you're going to find. So the bumps in the road could be something buried under the road or along the road. Maybe. So here, I have a bunch of hands kind of reaching out from under the ground, and that is a generic no name brand paper die, metal die. I couldn't even tell you where I got it from. I cut it on black paper, covered it in the crib paste, and then use some red watercolor, red metallic paint. It was watercolor paint, and just dipped it in that red to make them look a little freshly deceased. And in the background, I have some more of those paper dolls. So that's day 6. Here's day 7. Day 7 reads, I drive for a bit, looking for a way back to the main road when I see a cave tunnel up ahead. Something is definitely hiding inside. Girl. I don't know how many times God's got to knock on your door and tell you don't go that way, but you insisting you're going to go. Here's that cave. So again, this started off as a Tim Holtz ephemera. Some of his ephemera packs bring these large ephemera pieces, and recently when I was reorganizing my room, I kind of took inventory in my head of what I have, and I remember seeing these. So this started off looking exactly like this. You see it? And what I did was I used a sander, scraped it up some. I went in with some of my distress crayons to change the coloring, and just to give it a different vibe, totally different vibe, before, after. And then what I did was I took an X-Acto blade and I cut a little slit so that I can slide a paper doll into one of the little kind of side tunnels here, have them peeking out. So that's what I saw in my head. That's what I decided to make. And the background here, what's framing this cave that she's about to stupidly enter, is that same background created by the black gesso, the gilding polish, and the paint splatter. This was the first time I used that Dr. Martens copper paint splatter. Can't say I'm a fan. I much prefer the vibrant. See the difference? Look at the difference in the splatters. Can you see? This is like a more vibrant gold. This is way too copperish. And it would make sense because, you know, copper is in the name. I don't know what I was thinking. So that's as far as I got. Then I hit day 8, and oh my God, my friends, I'm stuck. As I drive past, I see something else just outside the cave entrance. It looks like the same older man in suspenders from the carnival. Maybe I'm stuck because I wasn't vibing with that carnival, and I don't know who this man is. But this man is going to be this man, as it turns out. So I have to figure out a different way to kind of represent this man on this page. This was these are paper bags, and this was the way I bound it to the book. It was a one large pocket, so I split the bag and I opened it. I'm thinking I might do something like this to create maybe a pocket for a tag and work on a tag, but I don't know. I'm having a hard time seeing day 8 in my brain. I don't see it. I don't see it. Maybe I'm lost in the dark woods right now and not concentrating and not making smart decisions, but I think this is a good spot to stop. So there you have what I have created for days 1. Well, I'm going to say I repurposed day 1, day 2, 3, 4, here's 5. This is crazy, right? I love the way that turned out. 6 and 7. So are you doing an October daily, my friends? If so, which one are you doing? Are you participating in Oddtober? If you are, let me know. I would love to see what you're making. And I will continue to share with you as I progress. I'm thinking I'm calling it done for today, and I will revisit more of these prompts throughout the week. So maybe this weekend I will be able to share more with you. Thank you for joining me, my friends. I so appreciate you. And I will catch you all in my next video, my friends. Until next time, bye-bye.